Hey beauties, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well. So today I'm going to be doing my April favorites. Let me try to situate myself here. Okay, so today I'm going to be doing my April favorites, and we're just going to go ahead and get started because I felt like I didn't have a ton of stuff to talk about, and I just feel like I have a nice little mix. So let's just go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to mention is, look at this packaging, you guys. Like, what? So cute. So this is the Marc Jacobs Decadence perfume, and this is easily one of my favorite perfumes ever. Definitely in my top 5, but easily in my top 30. And my best friend actually bought this for me for my birthday. My birthday was, I feel like I got stuff all over me. My birthday was March 31st, and so she bought this for me, and just every time I smell it, I think about my 26th birthday. But also I wore this in April when I defended my thesis, and just so much like business related stuff to finishing up my master's degree. So this will always remind me of that. But I just like, it was just such a sweet gift, and I have just been wearing it. I've been trying not to wear it a ton, so wear it for more like special stuff, but it's just so good, and it's one of my favorite scents, and she surprised me with that. So I wanted to mention that. And then the next thing I want to mention, now like I said, I was finishing up school, and I'm basically almost done. And so this is the Big Bang Theory. This is the first season. I just grabbed a random season, but this has been the comedic relief I needed this month. I mean, this show has me cracking up, like bent over, stomach hurting, cracking up. I love this show so much. I think I'm on season 5, but I just grabbed the first season that I saw, which just happened to be the first season. But yeah, I've just enjoyed kind of collecting these DVDs and just watching them. And I've been watching them pretty slow, just when I have a little bit of time at night to catch an episode or two, or on a weekend I might catch an episode or two. Sometimes I'll binge a couple more than 2, but I've just been really enjoying this, so I just wanted to mention that. I don't think I've ever mentioned a TV favorite, which is crazy. We'll do more of that. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention, on with the entertainment, I need to mention 2 books. So the first one I want to mention is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I will be doing a book review on this. I mean, just one of the best, if not the best, book I have read this year. The writing in this book is impeccable. There's no other word for it. It's so well written, and I just feel like you can tell a lot of thought and time and emotion went into this book. This book, of course, is based around the Black Lives Matter movement, and it was handled, I think, with so much love and care, and I just appreciate that so much. So I absolutely enjoyed that book, and I actually buddy read this book with Xavier from Charles Explosion. I'll link his channel down below. And then the other book, now this is on the other end of the spectrum, right? Because this book, I mean, this book made me laugh and stuff, but this is a serious topic. And then on the other end, this book, I mean, it definitely has a serious topic in here, talking about immigration and that kind of stuff, especially with the climate, you know, in our society today. But this book was also lighter in some other ways, and I just, I loved this book. I mean, by the time I made it to page 6, I knew it. I took out my phone and put in my notepad, like, I'm on page 6 and I'm in love with Daniel. He cracks me up. So I enjoyed this book so much. I read this book in one sitting. I stayed up to like 3-4 o'clock in the morning because I had to finish it, and I absolutely loved it. I think I'm going to do either a book review or a book discussion. I'm just trying to get my thoughts together so I can figure out what makes more sense for this book, but I definitely do want to talk about this book individually. And then a couple other things that I want to mention that aren't makeup related. The next thing, and I like throwing things in my favorites video, just a well-rounded favorites video. So the next thing I want to mention is this Signature Tea Co. caffeine-free peppermint herbal tea, and it's organic. And I never thought I would be sitting here saying that I love a minty drink of any kind, because I am not a minty drink lover at all, no way, Jose. But this is very good. And the thing about it is that I found that this really, because this month I had a ton of nerves surrounding finishing my thesis and stuff like that, and I was just nauseous a lot, and this really helps with the nausea, and also it really helps if you get nauseous when you're on your period, and it helps a lot with just digestion. I just found having a cup of this to end my day was so nice, and I could feel a difference the next day. So I will definitely make sure I have peppermint tea in the house. Now the other tea that I had been trying is ginger tea, and I think that it works just as well, but this is just what I have on hand right now because I finished the ginger tea. But I would highly recommend peppermint tea or ginger tea. I tried the ginger tea from Yogi, and either of those are great if you are somebody who has a lot of trouble with digestion or nausea, or if you have really bad cramps and you get sick around that time of the month. I would highly recommend both, but the peppermint tea is what I have surprisingly really fell for. So I wanted to mention that. And then another thing that I surprisingly, now this is not a new product to me, you know, like most of these things really aren't. But don't you love when you just fall back in love with the product? This is the Now Solutions Avocado Oil, and it says it's 100% pure moisturizing oil that supports skin elasticity, is nutrient rich and hydrating. Now I discovered avocado oil years ago because I started making my own avocado deep conditioner, and at some point I got lazy, so I bought avocado oil to use when I didn't want to make the avocado deep conditioner all the time. And this month I was just bone tired, like I just was. And so I would get out the shower and I just wanted to hit the bed, but I knew I wouldn't get sleep if I didn't get my skin prepped. So I would just grab this up and just put a little bit in my hands, get it all over my body. But the first time I did it, the next morning I woke up and I touched myself and I was like, what did you do to yourself the night before? And then I remembered the avocado oil, so I did it a couple other nights, and I was like, oh my God, like just the smoothest, softest skin you can imagine. And I like making my own body care products and stuff sometimes, so when I make you know, body care products in the future, I will absolutely add avocado oil to them. That's not something I ever did before, but I mean, this made my skin feel amazing, and it didn't break me out of hives or anything like that. So this is an oil that my skin definitely supports, so I'm good with that. Now this is an oil that I use in my hair a ton, and this month I was also using this in my hair. Now this is my next favorite. This is actually a wig, you guys, and I love it. I can't remember the name of it, so I'll put it in the description box. But I just feel like it fits my face really well. Now it's bigger than my natural hair and the curls are tighter. But what I found is that like every 2 weeks I would take my hair down, deep condition it, and then I was going in with some avocado oil on my hair to kind of seal in whatever moisture I put in. And just throughout the week I would spritz my hair, a little bit of water, a little bit of leave-in conditioner, and just add a little bit of oil to my ends to just make sure that they were taken care of up under the wig and the wig cap, and it's just worked out so well for me. So favorite. I mean, I have really enjoyed this hair, and I will have a second one of these because I love it so much, and I just really like the look of it. And it's just easy when I'm busy to just put it on and go out the door and just not have to worry about my hair for a couple weeks. So yeah, I know I have gotten a lot of compliments on the channel as well about my hair, and I have responded back and let you guys know that this is a wig. And if you've asked me on like my Snapchat, I have let you know that this is a wig. But I do think it looks really good, and it was, you know, especially for somebody, I'm not really into wig world, so I'm just kind of learning about them. And so this wig was just easier for me because it wasn't a ton of parting and stuff like that I had to do. I did shape the wig up a little bit, cut it a little bit, pulled it out a little bit, and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it was really easy to kind of blend. And then I got used to it, and so I've really enjoyed it. So now we're going to get into talking about some makeup items. So the first thing I want to mention, I don't remember the name of this. I think this is like the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Blender or something like that. Again, everything will always be linked down below. But I really did not think I was going to like this blending sponge, because every blending sponge I've tried with this shape has just been so hard and terrible. And so I was like, no, I almost passed it up. But after so many times of passing it up, I finally just decided I needed to try it, because I heard, I think it was Beauty with Emily Fox describe it, and she was saying it felt like a marshmallow. And I was like, okay, like I gotta see. So I picked it up, and honestly, it feels like a marshmallow. It really does. It feels like a marshmallow. It's so soft, and it just blends products so well. Now, ever since I have found the Beauty Blender, I'm not gonna hold you up, I have kind of dumped everything else, because the Beauty Blender really is very good. Personally, for me, as a sponge girl, I definitely think it's worth the hype. But I have used this and loved this month. Now, I've still been using the Beauty Blender. Still love the Beauty Blender. Like a love. But this is so good. It's so soft. And what I like about it is that when you wet it, it gets soft. And it's just so easy to put the product on your face. And as you're, you know, bouncing it on your face, it does not feel hard, because sometimes product like sponges will feel soft in the hand, but when you're trying to like pounce the product into your skin, it just like it's kind of hard to pounce it in. And I just find that this is the exact opposite. Really soft, really easy to use to blend out. I've used it for foundation, concealer, I've even used it to put on highlight, and I've liked it for all of those things. So then the next thing I want to mention, which is on the other end of the spectrum, because this is pretty affordable, I think, but on the other end of the spectrum is this Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in Tipsy. This is expensive, like hella expensive, and I love it so much. I really want some other colors. It's so good. So again, this is in the shade Tipsy, and it's kind of a really, I don't know, like a peachy color. And let me see if I can show you guys a swatch of it. And it's one of those blushes that has like a little bit of a sheen to it. It's mostly a matte, but somehow it has a little bit of a sheen to it. And so on the cheeks, it just, and I have it on today, but on the cheeks, it just really looks gorgeous, and it brings a little bit of life back to the skin, but there's no shimmer that I can detect or glitter, because I have a zero tolerance for shimmer and glitter and blushes, because I have huge pores right here when I smile. So those products just exaggerate and really don't look good on me personally. So I tend to only like matte or like creamy products for my blushes, but this is so good. And also, because I am coming up on graduation, I've been experimenting with products so that I can try to figure out what I have in my collection that's the longest wearing, because I'm trying to figure out how I want to do my makeup for graduation. And so this blush stuck out to me, because when they say 12 hours, they're not kidding. They mean it. 12 hours, it's going to hang, or at least on my skin, it's definitely hanging. So I think this is the blush that I'm going to wear, because I feel like this is the longest wearing blush that I have. Also, because I was doing so much experimenting, another thing that I ran across, that now I actually picked this up at the store, and this is the Hard Candy Color Correcting Radiant Primer. And it says that it corrects dark spots, dark circles and spots, medium to dark skin tones. Now when I saw this, you know what this made me think of? The Makeup Forever, what is it, the Radiant Primer, and it's in an orange container like this, but it's skinnier. And I love the Makeup Forever Hydrating Primer. I've talked about that a ton on the channel. And so I planned to pick up the Makeup Forever Radiance Primer, and I saw this and it reminded me of it. And so at first I thought, you know what, I'll get this and I'll compare it to the Makeup Forever. I'll get them both, I'll try them out, I'll give you my thoughts on both of them. But I have just loved this so much. I haven't even purchased the Makeup Forever Radiance Primer yet. And I mean, the one thing I gotta tell you though, oh, mine is looking all gunky. It's very orange. Like it's definitely orange. A little goes a very long way. If you use a small amount, then it's going to blend into the skin. It might look a little crazy at first, but a tiny amount, a little bit of this goes a long way, because it's so pigmented. But just a little bit, and I noticed the difference when I use this up under my makeup and when I don't. It really does make a difference, and I was so shocked. At first I was using way too much, and it wasn't necessary. Like I was dabbing little dots all over my face, and it was just way too much. So I started to dial back, and I love it even more. And it definitely does leave just like a soft radiance to the skin, and it's not shimmer or glitter. It really is radiant, and it definitely helps to color correct a little bit, because I mean I have on makeup today, but you guys have seen me without makeup. I do have some discoloration on my face, and I just feel like this helped, and it was very affordable. I also got the concealer that comes with this, the orange concealer, and it's just as good. Definitely a little goes a long way. So I would highly recommend this color correcting primer from Hard Candy. And then the foundation I've been using, because again, I have been testing. Now this is not a new foundation for me. This has been one of my favorite foundations for a really long time. Mentioned it a ton. This is the Covergirl Ready Set Gorgeous Fresh Complexion Foundation. Now this is in 315 Tawny. This is not my shade. I do have to lighten it up. But when I lighten it up, I have it on today. It is just my favorite. I hope the lights are not distorting it, because I have noticed on camera that the lights can kind of distort me a little bit. But I promise you, when I lighten this up, this might be one of my best matching foundations. And it looks so good because it's like a natural skin finish. And I'm in love with this foundation for the way it looks on the skin. It's so hard to just tell you guys how good it looks on the skin. I hope you can see it in the camera. I mean, it just looks so good. Now for me with this foundation, I get about 7 or 8 hours of wear. I do wish it wore a little bit longer, because if it did, this would definitely be the foundation I wear for my graduation. But also, this foundation reminds me so much of my Lancome Teint Idole foundation. Well, the Lancome reminds me of this one because I've been using this one longer. Except I think the Lancome one, the Lancome one definitely lasts longer, because that one definitely has a ton of longevity versus, like I said, this one gets about 8 hours, which is pretty good for me. But just when I'm thinking about special occasions and stuff like my graduation, I just want to know that that foundation is going to look good for a really long time, because I'm sure I'm going to be taking pictures throughout the day. But this reminds me, like, they're so similar except the staying power, and so I really can't pick between them. I love them both so much. So I wanted to mention that. And then another thing that I have been doing is I've been kind of layering some products, and both of these are Maybelline mascaras, and I really like these Maybelline mascaras in their own right. I mean, this one is kind of a rediscovered love. This one is a favorite. I've been using it for a long time. This is the Falsies Volume Express Waterproof in Very Black. I can't tell you how many of these I've repurchased. It's always a favorite, always a repurchase. But what I've been doing, because I rediscovered this is the Lash Discovery Mini Brush Waterproof Mascara. First thing you should know, when they say mini brush, they mean it. Like, do you see how little that is? That's crazy. But what I found is going in with the coat of this first to really pull my lashes out. I don't know, it's just something about it that kind of preps them. It's almost like a lash primer, I feel like. I feel like it just kind of preps them and elongates them. And then I go in with about a coat, sometimes 2 coats of this. And I mean, just no compromising. It's every bit as volumizing as it is lengthening. And it is just so good. And I found that when I wore one without the other, I was just like, oh, it's not as good if they're not together. Like, they're still both really good mascaras along. Because this brush is tiny, it's going to take quite a while to, you know, build it up. This one is amazing by itself, but just together, they are something very special. Dream team over here, because they are the bomb. And then, speaking of mixing, because apparently that was a thing for me this month, the lip combo that I'm wearing, if it hasn't wore off, I don't think so, I've had it on for quite a while, is these 2 lip liners from the NYX Slide On Lip Liner line. Now, I know I've talked about this line before, and I've raved about how much I really like it. This is a creamy, intensely pigmented, highly blendable lip liner. Review in a nutshell, right? But what I've been doing is taking the Urban Cafe lip liner, which is a brown lip liner. Oh, I mean, it is just so smooth. That's what it looks like right there. And I'll line the outside of my lips and then blend that in really well. And then I will go in with this shade right here, which is Nude Suede Shoes. And I mean, it's pretty nudie, pasty. And I will line the inside and kind of go over where the brown is a little bit and just blend them together. And it's giving me this great, like, nude lip look that I have right now. And I've been really thinking about wearing this for graduation. So I'm either going to wear maybe this for graduation or possibly a liquid lipstick. But I mean, this together, it's like my perfect, like, little bit deep hair. I highly recommend those. And then going along with that, because I have actually been using I mean, this is just an always favorite, but I have been using the NYX Urban Cafe lip liner alongside these 2 as well. So this is the NYX Intense Butter Glosses. And what kind of got me back on this train is that I have been using the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip glosses like they're going out of style. And do I think they're good? I think they're amazing. But I am a gloss girl. I don't mind a thicker lip gloss, and I don't mind a super intensely pigmented lip gloss. So that's probably why I love them. Well, boom! These are bit thicker, but they're also creamy to me, and I think they're a little bit hydrating, and they are so intensely pigmented as well, and I love these. And so I've kind of gotten back on the train, and so the two shades I've been using the most is Tres Leches and Peanut Brittle. And Tres Leches is like a pinky nude. I mean, oh, they are just great. And also, funny enough, these have kind of the same brush, but it's smaller than the Anastasia Beverly Hills. There's just so many similarities. Maybe I'll do a video comparing these two. But here's Tres Leches right here. And then a shade that I really didn't expect to fall in love with, and I did, so I went back and picked it up a while ago, is Peanut Brittle. But I was using it, but just not as much as I was using it over this last month. Where do I put this at? Look at this. This is, of course, I would put it over my knuckles, so it's very hard to blend out. So this is Peanut Brittle, and then Tres Leches. So you can kind of see the difference. This one is definitely peachier, and this one is pinkier, and I have just been for these. So that's everything. We're done. I feel like I talked about a lot of products, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this favorites video as always. I would love to hear what favorites you have been enjoying in the month of April. And finally, I just wanted to say, because I keep forgetting to do it every month, and I'm finally thinking about it, I'm filming on my new camera, the Canon EOS Rebel T6i, and that has definitely been a favorite for this month. I've already shown it on my social media, on my Snapchat and everything like that, and I just feel so blessed that I was finally able to purchase a new camera. So quite a few of the last videos have been on this camera I've been filming on this camera for quite a minute now, but I keep forgetting to mention it as a favorite. Did I get this in March? I think I got it in March. But yeah, I keep forgetting to mention it, but I love this camera. I love the quality. I'm still learning it. I actually don't know how to take a picture on it, but I figured out how to film, and so we're good there. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that, but I'll let you guys go now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next. Bye.